Hello and welcome back to my channel. How are you all doing? Hope you're well. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you something really exciting. I'll be showing you how to make preserved roasted peppers in two different ways. One is going to be in oil with a twist, and the second one is going to be in brine, which is salt and vinegar water. The great thing about this recipe is that it can be adapted for all types of peppers. If you want to learn how to make preserved roasted peppers in brine and oil, please keep watching. Now let's get right into it. For the ingredients, I'll be using fresh red bell peppers, a cup of water, a cup of vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons of sea salt, 6 cloves of garlic, fresh rosemary. You could use any herb of your choice. I'm also going to be using 370 ml of oil. I'm using vegetable oil. And with the glass jars, I'm using a 370 ml glass jar. Here's an overview of everything I'll be using in this video. I've washed my peppers and drained them to eliminate any excess water. Now I'll start by cutting them into two lengthwise. I'll take out the seeds and stalk like so. And I'm going to do this for all the peppers. Remember to keep your hands, utensils and workstation clean and sterilized while doing this so as not to introduce any bad bacteria into your jar of peppers. Now that I'm done, this is what the peppers look like. Here, I've lined my oven tray with a parchment paper. I'll spread the peppers and ensure they're all lying flat on the tray so that they are evenly cooked in the oven. I'll be using the grill function in my oven and set it to 220 degrees for 30 minutes. The reason why I'm using the grill function is because I want the peppers to be charred. While the peppers are roasting, I'll be preparing the oil which I'll be infusing the peppers in. I'll add some vegetable oil to a pan and wait till it's hot. After the oil is hot, I'll add some garlic and fresh rosemary and let them fry. Generally, when making preserved roasted bell peppers, people tend to use olive oil. But because I want something different, I decided to make my own garlic and rosemary oil by frying the rosemary and garlic in oil. I'll leave this to keep frying for a couple of minutes, then turn off the cooker when the garlic starts to turn golden. I'll leave the oil to cool down and check on the peppers. Just take a look at those. They came out perfect. Here's a closer look. I love that the peppers are well charred and roasted. That will add an extra flavor to the peppers. Next, I'll transfer the roasted bell peppers into a bowl and I'll cover the peppers for an hour so it cools down, sweats. That way the skin softens and makes it really easy to peel. You could use anything to cover the peppers. I'm just using my chopping board. While waiting for the peppers to cool down, here's my rosemary and garlic infused oil all ready. Just take a look at that. While making this video, I just couldn't wait to try out the oil. Another thing about making a herbal infused oil is that you can try any herb you like. It doesn't have to be rosemary. Now that the peppers are completely cooled down, I'll start taking the skin off. Do you see how easy that was? The key is to make sure that once the peppers are out of the oven, you cover them and let them sweat so that way it becomes really soft and the skins peel off quite easily. I'll now go ahead to take the skin off the rest of the peppers. Now that I'm done taking the skin off, this is what the peppers look like. The next step is optional. As someone who loves flavorful food, I'm going to add a pinch of salt and a tablespoon of vinegar to the peppers. So the peppers that will be infused in oil will be more flavorful with a little saltiness and tanginess from the vinegar. I'll gently mix that up using a tongue so as not to mash up the peppers. Now it's time to make the brine. I'll add vinegar, rosemary, sea salt and water into a pan. I'll leave this to cook on low to medium heat so that the salt dissolves and the flavors combine. I'll give it a stir and leave it to cook for a couple of minutes. Now that the salt has dissolved and the air is filled with rosemary aroma, I'll give it one last stir, turn off the cooker and set the brine aside. Now it's time to transfer the roasted red peppers into the jar. I've sterilized the jars, so I'm going to start by placing a clove of garlic and a sprig of rosemary into the jar, which I'll be adding the brine to. I'll try as much as I can to add equal proportion of peppers into both jars. I'll add another garlic and rosemary and keep on transferring the peppers into the jar. Now I've got my brine and rosemary and garlic infused oil. I'll add the brine and use a knife to release any trapped air bubbles and top up the jar with more brine until the peppers are fully submerged. Now that the jar is filled to my satisfaction, I'll go ahead and seal it. Here is a closer look. Next, I'll add the rosemary and garlic infused oil to the peppers. I'll give the jar of oil a quick shake, open up the jar and add it to the roasted peppers. I'll use a fork to take out some rosemary and garlic and add to the roasted peppers so that they can keep infusing and releasing more flavors into the peppers. And I'll use the fork to release any air bubbles like I did with the peppers in the brine. Then I'm going to add more rosemary oil and top up the jar with the oil and seal the jar. Now I'm going to seal the jar. Now look at that. And these are my jar of roasted peppers in rosemary and garlic oil and roasted peppers in brine. I'll leave both on the kitchen counter to completely cool down, then transfer them into the refrigerator. Both can be eaten immediately, but I usually prefer to leave them for a few days so that the flavors are well infused into the peppers. That way they taste better and are more flavorful. If you're following this recipe and want your peppers to last a bit longer, you could explore water bath canning. I have a video on water bath canning which is really easy and you don't need any fancy equipment. I'm going to link that video somewhere above this. Because I know I'll be consuming these peppers in less than 2 weeks, I'm not going to bother to do a hot water bath canning. I'm just going to refrigerate them. It's 48 hours later and as you can guess, it's time for a taste test. I've got some rye bread and both peppers and mashed avocados. I'll spread some mashed avocados over toasted rye bread, then add the rosemary and garlic oil infused roasted peppers to the toast on my right and the roasted peppers and brine to the toast on my left. Now look at that. Doesn't it look delicious? I also made a salad bowl where I added some bulgur wheat, mushrooms, Brussels sprouts, pickled peppers, avocado on a bed of spinach, and added my preserved roasted peppers in oil and brine, topped with sunflower seeds, and it tasted super amazing. These preserved roasted peppers were the best. Again, they're healthier and more flavorful than the store-bought ones. And not to forget, this recipe can be adapted for all varieties of peppers. So, I guess we've come to the end of this video. If you've enjoyed watching this video on 2 easy ways to make preserved peppers, please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe to my channel and please don't forget to click the notification bell icon so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Take care. Bye.